that is going to be incredible.
All right, let's bring in our political panel. President and executive editor of the Daily Signal, Robert Bluey, and former Kansas state representative and personal friend of Vice President Kamala Harris, Raj Goyal. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. First, let's go to Trump's latest cabinet picks. RFK Jr. has been on a mission to make America healthy again, and now that role's official. Robert, what are your thoughts on this selection?
Well, good morning, Lonnie and Joe. And this is a big announcement. The Department of Health and Human Services is one of the government's largest agencies with a wide swath of powers and control. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be in a position to implement the Make America Healthy agenda. And I think the American people should welcome the changes that he will bring to HHS. And I say that for one reason. We are a society that is getting sicker, not healthier. We are a society that is more reliant on processed foods. And I think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants to shake things up when it comes to big food and big pharma. And I'm hoping that Donald Trump will have his back as he goes about doing so.
Raj, do you have any concerns about this selection here?
Well, I think it's one of these interesting things. There's a lot of talk about the realignment, and I have to say I agree. I'm a bit of a health nut myself, and I think it's actually a bit refreshing that we've got a conversation for the first time. I've been doing politics for 30 years around the concept of even big food, around a corporate food supply, around why we are getting sicker. I'm the child of two doctors, Indian immigrants, and so health issues are very front and center in my personal life, and I think in many people's lives. That being said, we have to wait and see. Talk is cheap. This is the honeymoon period. Trump had a resounding victory. We Democrats are licking our wounds. We are in a big process right now to figure out who we are as a party and how we go forward. So the proof is in the pudding. No pun intended there on the food front. And so we have to wait and see what this cabinet will do. These press releases are easy, but what happens when he gets into government, when he goes up against these big corporate interests? What will Trump do? Will he buckle? Similarly, with all of these cabinet picks. I do have to say, if you'll let me, I think the Matt Gaetz pick not only won't be confirmed, but is one of the most disastrous picks that really makes a mockery of the notion what the Department of Justice is, and even for Trump, really should be an embarrassment, considered an embarrassment.
All right, you brought up Gaetz. Raj, let's talk about the other selections from Trump, the two Dougs, Doug Collins and Doug Burgum. Collins being a veteran himself, a rank of colonel, law school educated, has worked in state and federal government and knows the landscape. A good decision, Raj? You first, then Robert.
Oh, sure. Look, a president-elect has the right to pick his or her cabinet. And so I'm not really one. I think the Senate has to execute its advice and consent role. One thing, again, getting back to Gaetz, I was happy to see that the senators, who are, of course, a Republican majority, likely 53 seats, have said they're going to give a full examination of Gaetz's record and of these other picks. So let the process work out. And, Donald Trump is now clearly has a bit of a mandate. He won a popular vote. He won the Electoral College. Now he's got to govern. And we saw what happened in the midterms in 2018 when Republicans got their clocks cleaned. Same thing that happened to Democrats in 2010. Same thing that happened to Democrats in 1994. Also to Republicans in 2006. So the bar is high now. And now we have to see and evaluate how they do. What all that matters is how they're helping or hurting the American people.
All right, Robert?
Yes, well, when it comes to Doug Collins and when it comes to Pete Hegseth, two nominees who have both sterling credentials when it comes to their military service and commitment to this country, I think that the one common thread you see between them is that they are highly skeptical of the status quo and the defense industrial complex in this country. And if Donald Trump wants to really shake things up in the defense industry, these are the two men that could potentially do it. Obviously, Doug Collins cares deeply about our veterans. That's an agency that is ripe for reform and needs more improvements. You saw some of the attention in Trump's first term focused on that area. And when it comes to the Senate, my expectation, I slightly disagree with Raj here. You have 53 senators. That means Trump can lose up to 3 of them on these picks. I think overwhelmingly they are going to give Donald Trump the deference to build out his cabinet as he sees fit. And that's why I think Matt Gaetz ultimately will be confirmed, and it won't be as big of a debate as we're seeing play out in Washington right now.
Okay, moving away from the appointments for just a moment, actor and filmmaker Sylvester Stallone introduced President-elect Trump last night. During the introduction, he made this comment about Trump.
When George Washington defended his country, he had no idea that he was going to change the world. Because without him, you can imagine what the world would look like. Guess what? We got the second George Washington. Congratulations!
Robert, that's certainly a bold statement to make here. What's your take on that?
Well, it sure is. And I mean, it's certainly big expectations for Donald Trump to deliver in this second term. Remember, he started out pretty slowly in that first term. I mean, we have seen this flurry of appointments coming fast and furious, as you said. And so I expect that Donald Trump, not only on when it comes to putting in the people in the positions where they can enact policy, but when it comes to legislation and getting things through Congress, he has about 1 year to do that. I mean, we're going to move into this midterm election pretty quickly. And so if Trump wants to live up to what Sylvester Stallone said, he better get to work early on.